I should be. I don't put it on pause.
There you go. Now it's going. The time is changing.
Okay.
So it sounds like you've been doing pretty good.
It's been okay. It's been okay.
What's been the good and the bad?
I'm just aggravated.
Why?
Because I'm still doing it. I'm still on the cane and the walker. Because, you know, in the beginning, like with Dr. Williams a while ago, and I need the cane and walker, and I'm like, oh my goodness, not that old.
No, you're not old at all. You're younger than me.
Oh my goodness, but it's,
But you fell recent, right? The other day you were running around and...
Yeah.
Were you moving quickly? Do you know why you fell?
I think I just was moving too fast.
Did your foot catch on the carpet or something? What do you think?
Yeah, it might have. I think I thought I was at the door trying to grab it, and I wasn't. All that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Did you get hurt when you fell?
Oh no.
Do you, like, depth perception wise, do you have trouble seeing things like that? Like
That's
how high to pick up your foot or how far away something is?
I think so, because my sister was asking me that when I went to see her, and I went to sit down, but I was at the couch, and she was saying, because you need to talk to the doctor if there's something wrong with that. And I was like, I don't think that. I've always been, like, can't judge distance. That's what she was asking. Can't judge distance.
Is one eye a lot better than the other?
I think so.
Which is your good eye?
I don't know.
Don't know? Okay. Have you ever lost vision in either of your eyes?
When I first was diagnosed, I lost vision and I don't think that either.
One of them?
Yes, one of them. Man, like, I'm thinking it was the left, but I really can't remember.
Who was your eye doctor?
My eye doctor when I had, Tippett.
Do you still see them now, Dr. Tippett?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you went, you think?
Some months ago. Yeah, because he had all my medical records, like from when I had stopped my medication. He was like, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. You cannot do that.
So when 2010, you may or may not remember this, but we did visual evoked potentials on her. So that was when you would have gone in the hospital, and they usually put on like a seizure cap, and then they test the nerves in your eye. Do you remember that test?
No.
You like look at a computer, it's a checkerboard pattern, and then the pattern changes. And they measure how long from when the pattern changes to when you know it changed.
I don't remember.
So back then, you had trouble with both your eyes. Mm-hmm. So both of them actually had damage from the MS.
Okay.
It was the right one back then in 2010 that was worse than the left one.
Okay.
But it was a little bit bad in both of them. So you probably do have trouble with depth perception because your vision isn't as good as it used to be. Do they check? What do they do when you go to the eye doctor?
He checks. He does the peripheral. They do the peripheral vision. When you look in there and the little dots pop up all over the screen, you have to push the button. He did that one. He does the letters, big and small. And when my eyes was giving me problems, like really, really bad, he had like a real giant E on there, and I didn't have my glasses on. And he said, "So can you see that?" I said, "No, I don't see nothing." No, I don't know.
Does he take pictures of the nerves?
Yeah, I think so.
Like where usually it's like a round machine, and then there's a little house in the off in the distance.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do that.
Has he said anything about your vision being the same or worse or anything?
Last time I went, he said it was doing better than it had been doing before.
Good.
The time before, he was like, it was doing better than, because I remember that, because I was like, oh, for real?
That's awesome. Awesome. And when do you go back?
Uh,
Not for a while. So there is a thing called low vision rehab. The occupational therapists here are the ones that do it. But when you have damage in the nerves from the MS that's probably not ever going to totally go away, and you're noticing it, like your vision is probably affecting your walking as much as your balance or muscle strength is affecting it. So like with the one you told me about, you were like, well, I thought I was at the door, but when I went to grab it, I wasn't. And so there have been times when you've fallen just because of that. So I think that might really help you. It's different than physical therapy because it's not looking at specific muscle strengthening. It's looking at safer ways for you to move around and do things when your vision isn't as good as it would be. And with yours, it may fluctuate day to day. So there may be some days when your vision's real clear and other days when it's not as good.
Okay. And could I just be rushing and just...
Oh, you definitely just rushing. That definitely happens that you're moving too fast.
Okay.
But I think they could probably give you some tips or tricks to make it easier and ways to double check so that you don't make those mistakes as often.
Okay.
Because you're still falling. I mean, yesterday was one, but how often do you think you fall?
I was telling him, what did we just say? Like 3 times? No, like 8 times a month.
Yeah, like more than once a week, which is a lot.
Yeah. If I'm right. Look, mom would tell me, no.
Do you think you fall when you're using your cane or your walker?
Yeah.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
What makes you fall when you're using...
I don't know, and nurses be at the church and they be like, you're not walking right with the cane. And then sometimes I'm walking, like, when I was walking in with my dad, and he was like, hold your cane. And I'll put it down on the ground, and because I feel like I walk better when I'm not walking with the cane. And I'm like...
How about the walker? Have you fallen when you use it?
One time, and that might have been last year. When I was pushing it and I fell, and I was like, how do you fall when you're using the walker?
But so if you fall sometimes with the cane, and it's been over like a year since you fell with the walker, I would use your walker more. That's a pride thing that you don't want to do it. But you probably moved...
We had to say that on the camera.
On camera. Use the walker. It's a pride thing that you don't want to do it because you're like, I'm young, I shouldn't need to. But for your safety, it's better to use it so that you don't have the falls or hurt yourself. Right now, you haven't hurt yourself at all when you're falling. But it's not to say you couldn't have an injury, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
So let's try the low vision rehab, okay? If they feel like you need to do physical therapy again or something, we can do that next.
My physical therapy, that's the thing. Y'all said I needed physical therapy. I called them. We set it up or whatever. They called me and said that, what am I? Medicare. Medicare, Medicaid. No, Medicaid. I'm on Medicaid. And they said it wouldn't cover it.
Would it pay for you to go there?
Yes, because it's something that, because the lady, I called her back and said, okay, so why is it not? Because that was the second time.
Yeah, and you only have Medicaid?
Yes.
Have you applied for Medicare?
No.
You should.
Because I thought that was just...
So, you should be able to get Medicare. How long have you had the Medicaid? Years.
Like, it's been a year or 2. It could be 2.
It takes a while to get approved for Medicare, but Medicare covers things like physical therapy better than Medicaid alone. Medicaid will pay for all your medicines and treatments and all that kind of stuff. But as to the physical therapy and outpatient rehabs, Medicare covers it better.
Okay.
So we can get, if you apply for it, we can send in any documentation or things that you need. You'll still keep your Medicaid, but you could have Medicare on top of it.
Okay. And so I would
That'll
have to
make
do
it
the
easier.
same thing that I did with Medicaid.
Probably.
Okay.
But once you get approved for Medicaid, it's usually a waiting game. Usually it's like you have to have had Medicaid for like 2 years or something before you get approved for Medicare.
Okay.
But eventually you'll get approved. So I would apply for it.
Okay.
There are places, so was that in the hospital or out of the hospital that you try to get the therapy?
I don't know what, I tried, when, the last time they said I couldn't, then I called other the therapists or whatever that was around to ask, do they accept Medicaid?
So you probably need to call Medicaid and find out what therapist
Okay.
you can go to.
Okay.
So even if we have to set up like home therapy, for you that might actually be helpful because a lot of the time you fall is in your house.
Okay.
So we can do that. We just need to find out what's the company that your insurance wants you to go to. And I'll fax an order wherever it goes.
Okay.
So like I said, that'll be easier if you have Medicare because they pay for most anywhere and only a few people take Medicaid. But for now, just find out who Medicaid recommends, and then we'll send the orders.
Okay.
So, has there been other things besides kind of the walking that you feel like is worse?
No, my Dr. Smith sent me to the urogynecologist.
Yep.
Dr. Henley checked me, and she said that it wasn't extreme.
That's good.
She said the accidents are not extreme. They
And she wanted you to like plan it out more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you been doing that? Trying to go more regularly?
Yeah, and it's
has it helped?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Definitely a lot.
Do you feel like you empty your bladder all the way when you go?
I do.
Good. That's the main thing. So as long as you feel like you empty all the way, I always worry more if it doesn't come out than if it does. So as long as you're able to plan for it, and I usually say like once an hour, every other hour, make yourself try and go, then you're not at a risk of getting urine infections or things like that.
Okay.
That's good. And bowel movements, it sounds like have been good too. Like
they're good when they decide to come. They're good.
You still have them like twice a week?
Yeah. And like I did it yesterday, cause I be really trying to count so I can like, when do you go? And like I went yesterday, and I'm like, okay, let's see when you decide to come back again.
Yeah.
But
and you're not taking anything to make yourself go right now? Good. So as long as it's twice a week, that's fine.
Okay.
If it's more than 3 days or so, the other thing you could do would be to take a stool softener, like Colace or Dulcolax has a stool softener that you can get over the counter. Those work by if you drink water, it pulls it into your bowels to make it softer.
Okay.
So sometimes it's easier to go just because your stool isn't as hard.
Okay.
So then the muscles don't have to work quite as hard to get it to empty.
Okay.
You can take one of those every single day, but you don't need to. If it's been more than a day and you haven't had one, you could try it on the second day and see if by the third day you've had a bowel movement. It may make a difference.
Okay.
And those, I can write you a prescription just so you have it, and the pharmacist can help you find it. It may be cheaper with a prescription or maybe cheaper over the counter. You can just ask him.
No, I think it'll be alright. You think I need one?
No. As long as you have a bowel movement twice a week, no.
Okay. No, my urine did help too. I was drinking a lot of water at one time, taking pills and stuff. I was drinking, no, not just water. I mean, a lot, because
it's on camera. You get yelled at. I sort of like this being on camera thing, because it's like, you got to tell the truth.
No.
We might have to start taping everybody. They can be honest. Be like, no, I told it. It's on camera. You said.
This is what happened. No, I wasn't just drinking water, because there'll be my sister that'll say, no, she doesn't drink water. She doesn't.
You're making me laugh.
I was drinking water and
like
drinks and stuff, and I was going to the bathroom more. had to go more. And I was like, am I not emptying? I just went to the bathroom. But it got back, it's getting back on a routine. So
that maybe, was it caffeine in the drinks? Were you
no.
drinking tea or soda or anything like that?
See, no.
That will always make you go more if you
Okay.
drink something with caffeine. Caffeine's a diuretic, so it'll make you pee a lot.
Oh, okay.
So that's something you could watch in terms of the other things that you drink.
Okay.
But the main thing is drinking enough water. If you drink enough water, it'll help both your bladder and your bowel.
Okay.
And that's like 8 to 10 glasses or half your body weight. Did they tell you how much you weighed today?
Yes. 100 gain weight.
You may not put that on camera.
What?
It was, let's see. It's pretty stable since January, but it was 141.
And you used it was 140, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You gained, well, so it depends. Compared to April of last year, you've actually lost weight.
Okay.
So it fluctuates a little bit, but
Okay.
you're staying pretty stable. So you're, how tall are you?
Like 5'2".
Okay. They have you listed as taller than that.
Oh, they had 5'3". Oh, I tell you.
She's lying about how tall she is. Now compared to a year ago, you shrunk a lot in here.
I know why, because that's what we didn't do today. We didn't do height.
To see how tall you are.
Because when they did it the last time, I had a big old bun on top of my head, and they was like, "Oh,
to make you
taller."
That's really funny.
I'm really gonna be shorter.
So your body mass is good though. So you're at a healthy weight. You don't want to gain more, but you also don't necessarily need to lose a lot. You're still in a normal range.
Okay.
So do some things for me. Squeeze your eyes tight. Good. You can open them. Stick out your tongue and say ah.
Ah.
Good. No trouble swallowing.
Mm-mm.
Shrug your shoulders up for me. Good. Slide your glasses off. And follow my finger and look over this way. Do you ever get double vision?
Mm-mm.
You track pretty well. Did your eyes ever not look at the same thing? Did you ever have it where one eye was one way and one was a different way?
When it was acting up that first time.
You did? Look down for me.
Oh.
That's the most common reason if someone had an INO. So you don't have any residual deficit. Sometimes people will always have the bad eye not get back to normal. But this way is probably normal to far gaze, to have both eyes jump is normal. Versus when she looks this way, she only has it on the left or on the right. So.
Oh, when it blinks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're tracking fine, but she still has that residual sign from the INO way long.
So what is it when they blink and they
jump up and down? We call that nystagmus. It can make it real blurry or see double or things like that.
Okay.
Put your glasses back on. Is it better with your glasses? Usually just wearing glasses will help a lot.
Oh, yes.
Pull your arms up and push me away. Sometimes they can put prisms in glasses too. That'll help. Come up this way. Push down. Good. Squeeze my fingers.
If I can get them, I'll be good.
Yeah, you're doing real good. Stretch them out wide this way. I ought to turn the camera here. We ought to turn it around so I can see you doing it. See if we can catch you on camera doing it. No, maybe not. Here, let's see if we can do it down here. Yeah, you hold it. We'll catch you on camera doing the truth of it. Alright, keep them up. Good. Put your arms out this way. Now close your eyes. Take this one and touch your nose. Good. How about this one? Good. Open your eyes. Let's try it again. Take that one and touch your nose. And then touch my finger. So even to depth perception, you kind of overshoot. Like you guess where my finger is, but you're not always right as to where my finger is.
Right, and I hear all the way over to like, she ain't there.
How about this one? That's where some of that other therapy will help, because trying to find, you got a little bit of a tremor, but more of the trouble is trying to find where it is. Lift this one up. How about this one? Good. Kick out for me. And pull back. Good. Kick out with this one. And pull back. Good. Take this foot and run it up and down your shin. Go all the way up. Good. How about this side? Good. Tap your toes for me. How about your fingers? Can you flip your hands over in your lap? Good. I'm going to take a look in your eyes. Slide your glasses off one more time, and then we'll do a little walk-in.
So what is it when the legs are feeling weak and they're not lifted? Because I have that issue.
That's what it is. The legs are a little weak. It's muscle fatigue. So when you get tired, or I think you mentioned earlier when you were stressed, things like that will sometimes make that weakness come back.
Yeah, so when like yesterday when I was babysitting, then it was time to go to church, and I'm like, I feel like I can walk.
And that's after a long day. So you may always have that, where after you've been doing a bunch of stuff, by the end of the day, it's harder than the beginning of the day.
Okay.
Usually that gets better if you rest in the middle of it.
Okay.
But it'll also be better if you have something to help you, like using the walker will make it less stressful on you. Let's do some walking now. Bring your cane. You can tell she don't use it. She already
Look how I jumped up without it.
You did, which is good. That shows how strong your legs are.
You know how to flip it around?
Uh-huh.